Imperialism refers to the policy or practice of extending power over foreign nations, usually by force. It involves the exercise of political, economic, and military power to establish control over other lands and peoples, often with the aim of extracting resources and wealth for the benefit of the imperial power. Imperialism is often associated with the ancient Greek and Roman Empire, and more popularly with the expansion of European powers to Africa, the Americas, and Asia from the 15th to the mid-18th centuries, and with the empire building of Germany, Italy, and Japan, among others, during the 19th and 20th centuries. One of the key features of imperialism is the use or threat of military force to establish control over other peoples and territories. This often involves the conquest and annexation of foreign lands, as well as the imposition of new political and social systems that reflect the interests and values of the imperial power. Examples of this are the British colonization of India and Africa, and the Spanish colonization of the Americas. In addition to military conquest, imperialism also often involves the use of economic and cultural power to establish influence and control over other nations. This can take the form of economic exploitation, such as the British Empire's extraction of resources and labor from India, and the US's imposition of cultural values and practices, such as education, religion, and language in the Philippines. Imperialism has been justified in different ways throughout history, often with appeals to notions of superiority, progress, and civilization. The Roman Empire, for example, justified its conquests in terms of bringing peace, stability, and civilization to the peoples it conquered. While European powers in the 19th century often justified their imperial projects as a means of civilizing their colonies, while also promoting European-style governance and institutions. Critics of imperialism, however, have pointed out that these justifications often mask the underlying economic and political motives of imperial powers. They argue that imperialism is fundamentally exploitative and oppressive, and that it serves the interests of the ruling elite rather than the people being colonized. Imperialism is often confused with colonialism. Although both concepts are related, they are nevertheless distinct from each other, specifically in their nature of control, objectives, and implementation. Imperialism is a broader concept that involves extending a country's power through various means, such as political alliances, economic agreements, cultural influence, or military interventions. It often, not always, involves indirect control over other nations, while its objectives are often broader, which can include economic exploitation, strategic advantages, or spreading cultural influence. Colonialism, on the other hand, is a form of imperialism where a country establishes direct control over a foreign territory, typically by establishing administrative structures and settling its population, with the objective of exploiting the resources and people of its colony. An example of imperialism would be the British Empire's influence over China through the Opium Wars and the subsequent Treaty of Nanking, which allowed economic dominance without full territorial control. While a case of colonialism would be the British Empire's colonization of India, where it established direct rule, settled administrators, and exploited India's resources for its benefit. To learn more about colonialism and its new forms, neo-colonialism, check out our videos linked in the description below. In recent decades, the concept of imperialism has been applied in new ways, particularly in the context of globalization and neoliberal economic policies. Some argue that the economic and cultural influence of powerful nations and corporations over developing countries constitutes a new form of imperialism. While others contend that the rise of international institutions and global governance structures represents a new kind of imperialism, in which powerful nations and transnational corporations exercise influence and control over less powerful countries. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, follow us on social media, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and see you in our next videos.